everyone, and welcome to today's General Hospital recap. Ooh, I almost messed up there. Thank you for joining me today. If you haven't already, please subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. And also, I have an Indiegogo link in the description. If you could please check that out for me. If you can't donate, I understand, but if you could please share it. William DeVry, aka Julian Jerome, is actually a huge supporter and contributor of our campaign, so it would mean a lot to me if you checked it out. And also, real fast, did anyone else's DVR not record the show today? I'm glad I was like, oh, 2 minutes in, let me just watch it. Well, I usually watch it live, but sometimes I wait a few minutes because I'm doing something, and I'm like, oh, it's not recording, so let me watch it right now. So did anyone else's do that? Because mine did. Let's get to today's General Hospital recap. The 5 families, we finally meet the infamous 5 families that Sonny always kind of mentions. Maybe we've met them before. This is, in my recollection, my first time meeting them, but it might not be. I don't have that long of a memory when it comes to stuff like that. So Sonny says that one of them broke the alliance and made a move against him, and he says that the merchandise showed up in Brighton Beach, and apparently that makes it Serge's problem. Serge was this loudmouth guy on the end of the table, right? So then Sonny wants information on the guy that sold, on the guy that sold Serge Sonny's merchandise. I want to get that right. So Serge says that the middleman in the past worked for the Jeromes, and that potentially he still does, but I don't know. He wasn't really forthcoming with information. So then Serge brings up how Sonny's territory is compromised, how Jason's dead, Sean's in prison, Duke is dead. He tells him to retire, that his time's over, and threatens him. So then Sonny turns around in his bodyguard, in a way to say, can you believe this guy? But then he turns around and shoots the guy, aka Serge. So bye Serge. So then chaos kind of breaks out a little bit, and then everyone calms down, and they decide that Sonny was well within his rights to do what he did, because Serge broke the alliance. So there you go. There's that. Let me prop myself up a little bit. At Carly's place, Carly tells Morgan to call Kiki so she doesn't find out about her father's death on the news, and Kiki urges Morgan to call again. She even tells him to drive out to the Hamptons to tell her, and he gets all pitiful and says that all he ever does is hurt Kiki. Okay. Carly tells Morgan she knows all about him and Denise and gets a weird reaction. She mentions the kiss. He's like, oh, right. And then she's like, wait, what did you think I was talking about? And then Carly scolds Morgan about being with Denise, and he says there's a mutual attraction that they can't stop. So then Carly tells Morgan that she told Denise to stay away from him, and Morgan gets really angry at her to the point where he yells at her. So then Carly puts him in his place. She says, last time she stayed out of his business, he drugged his brother, and then she also brings up how Morgan is so much like her, except she's better, and how it really got her nowhere, lying and doing all that stuff. So he really needs to start rebuilding trust with people, because the route he's on, it's not going to help him. Sam and Patrick, so Sam sees the news that Silas is dead. She wants to call Kiki, and Patrick kind of slows her down and lets her grieve. So then Sam thinks about how her and Silas met and how they didn't like each other at first. She talks to Patrick about him. There's a few flashbacks. It's sweet. It's sweet. So at the police station, Kiki's at the station. They walk Franco in. Dante talks to Kiki. She doesn't want to answer her phone. He comforts her a little bit. She tells him that she came home early because Silas called her because he said he had something important to tell her. And Jordan questions Franco, and Franco tells her to go to hell because he's classy. So then Dante asks Kiki what she saw when she walked into the room, and she says that she saw her dad lying on the floor bleeding, and that Franco walked in the room with her, but he didn't even wait for her to check his pulse because he already knew Silas was dead because he killed him. Not quite, but you can't blame her for thinking that, right? So then Kiki talks about how Silas was so good to her and how he never acted like she had to love him overnight, and Kiki blames herself because she stayed so close to Franco. And then they walk Franco out of the interrogation room down to booking, and Kiki wants to confront him, and she winds up slapping him at Denise's, aka Julian's place, but whatever. So Ava is watching the news, and she goes Silas, I did this to you. The fact that she stayed in his life killed him, and she blames herself. I really don't think she did it. I think she blames herself, and she knows she's part of the circumstance why he was killed, but I don't think she did it. So then Julian gets her a drink, and she thinks about her and Silas's time in the hospital. Julian can see that something's bothering her, and she tells him that Silas was murdered. Julian asks why she's so broken up about it, because she hardly even knew him, and she's like, you're right, I didn't, like, she has no explanation for it. So then Julian keeps bringing up how selfish and ruthless Ava was, which I found amusing. And then, so when Julian leaves the room, Ava's just straight up grieving Silas. She even has kind of like a vision of him pouring her a drink, and I really wholeheartedly don't believe she did it. I know a lot of people in the comments are like, it would be too obvious if Morgan did it, and I agree with you. Like, I do agree with you about that. But, you know, he's my number one suspect right now. Because I'm trying not to think of it in, like, it's a soap opera terms, like, you know, drama. I'm trying to think of it. I don't know. You know, I think, realistically, I think that Morgan did it, but maybe, like, you know, someone brought up maybe Madeline did it. Like, there's other, I don't know what motivation she would have had besides just generally not liking him. But, you know, I'm open to other possibilities. Anyway, at Shady Brook, Nina wants to use the phone, and Madeline comes and visits her. Madeline finds out Silas is dead, or did she already know? Dun dun dun. Madeline tells Nina that she does need to be in Shady Brook because Nina's insisting that she doesn't belong there. And Nina says she can't explain the baby crying, but she knows she didn't kidnap Avery. Madeline tells Nina that Franco's lying to her. Nina stands up for Franco. Like, literally, just tell Madeline to leave before you say something wrong, because she almost slipped like twice. Nina wants to use Madeline's phone, and she kind of threatens her a little bit. Attendants get involved. Madeline and Nina just kind of have a little bit more of, like, Madeline's like, I'm glad you're getting help, you need to be in here, and she leaves, and, like, Nina knows she doesn't belong in there. She knows she didn't do anything wrong, so maybe that'll spark something in her mind that Madeline really is on something, on something more, mischievous when it comes to Nina. Can't think of the word. But in any event, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already, please subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos, and I will see you tomorrow for more General Hospital. I hope you have a great day. Bye!